today there was tons of news about businesses and stuff that might close down permanently just due to the pandemic and losing revenue. Like one of them is Science World. You guys probably seen that every single time when I walk by the area. It's basically that huge dome-like place. Man, how many businesses can actually recover during times like this? As well, apparently a lot of the summer activities are already saying nope, for sure they're not going to open up. Like say things like that P&E fair, that's like months away too. Like all the way to August. Wow, this thing's going to last forever it seems like, huh? And during this time, there are a lot of businesses basically trying to find ways to innovate to, I guess, stay in business. And a lot of people are using drones, for example. So this one's actually kind of interesting because it makes you think whether or not people are just doing it anyways in terms of the drone delivery, even though technically they might not be allowed to, so to speak. It says Indianapolis Deli makes food deliveries with a drone. The owner of Greiner's Deli turned to a young man for a way to provide deliveries safely and healthily. The Indianapolis Deli wants to make sure customers know they're open at a time many small businesses are struggling to survive. We've gone down to about 15% of our original business that we have with the dining room being closed. It's just killed everything, Joshua Lopez, the Greiner's general manager said. Todd Tyrone, the owner of Greiner's on 86th Street, is also looking for ways to keep his people on the payroll. To keep employees and customers safe while practicing social distancing, the business has deployed drones to make contact-free deliveries. Once the order is driven to a home or a business, the drone operator, who is FAA licensed, drops off the food from several feet away. The drone can deliver a meal weighing up to 3 pounds. No drinks for now, but the service, it is free. Saying, quote, people are really protective of their health and we are too. And we don't want to be in contact, Tyrone said. We still want to feed them because they're stepping up, doing their work, and we want to do our work. They can see the interview and they make like an interesting point again about being, I guess, FAA authorized, so to speak, like licensed.
Only on RTV6. Look up. The drone is in the air and the delivery could be at your doorstep.
The business has deployed drones to make contact-free deliveries. Once the order is driven to a home or a business, the drone operator, who is FAA licensed, drops off the food.
All these businesses around that we deliver to, it's the thing of the future.
In the past 2 weeks, the drones have made 7 deliveries. It's made people smile.
The drone pilot, Tegan Tinsley, tells me that all deliveries are done of line of sight and the drones do not go above 400 feet.
So it makes you wonder in this case if they actually legitimately got like a waiver to do things like drone deliveries. Because it says here, the drone pilot, Tegan Tinsley, says all deliveries are done in line of sight and the drones don't go above 400 feet. In the past 2 weeks, the drones have made 7 deliveries. It made people smile, it's kept employees engaged. Because even with this report and by the sounds of it here, the person sounds like they just have that commercial license, like the 107 in the US, which doesn't technically mean you can deliver stuff like with your drones. It's more about being able to fly things like say commercially or within the controlled airspace. So it makes you wonder in this case whether or not the business is just doing it anyways. Because if a company like Amazon can't even get like waivers like that, I highly doubt a small business could in this way. I guess the first question would be, do you think businesses and people should be allowed to do things like this during these times to try to innovate with things like a drone? Even though I know regulation-wise, a lot of places say no, like you can't even attach, I don't know, some sponge or something like that to it. Should they be allowed to do this? Because in one end, I can actually see, even when they first invented the airplane, they probably needed this type of flexibility to kind of experiment and see whether or not it works and so forth. And by the sounds of it anyways, from the story, everyone kind of, I guess, enjoys it and appreciates it, like customers and the business? Or would you say, no, it's absolutely too dangerous? So you would agree with people, I guess, like in the US there, like with the FAA, nope, that's absolutely irresponsible. They shouldn't be doing it at all. Because it makes me think too, where a lot of the over-the-top regulations, they're only there because the mass majority are completely, I guess you can say, ignorant about how it actually is in practice. Kind of like that story I read the other day, if you guys remember, with those grandparents that just flew the drone with a present, like in the driveway. Technically, that's illegal, and it makes you think for things like this news report and stuff, whether or not people don't realize the regulations in many ways are so over the top, they stop people from doing stuff like that in such a basic way. And when people actually find out, like a regular person, they say, what? That's how it is? Whether or not they would be the ones demanding like changes as opposed to just people who fly the drones. So that's kind of an interesting thought. Remember that other story of the school who had to submit hundreds and hundreds of pages of documents just to get an FAA waiver to fly, I guess, like small drones within their own school campus? Like there again, it's just kind of sad to think about where that's what you have to do to fly things like a small drone in those particular cases there. I think one of the best examples here in Canada was when people like Transport Canada were saying, oh, anything with commercial work and so forth, you need a drone license. The average individual would say, oh yeah, that makes sense. What's wrong with that? And then you tell them, if you as an individual go out and capture the scenery just to show your friends and family, they consider that commercial because it's quote educational. You're showing people what the area looks like. You have to realize like, what? Then afterwards when people hear that, they think it's ludicrous. It makes me curious too, if the FAA would actually go in this situation here and say, that's it, we're shutting you guys down just because that's the way their regulations and stuff work. And whether or not that would create like a huge backlash just from the regular public, because just from the sounds of it and again the news report, everyone kind of likes it, because it would actually again raise a bit of awareness of whether or not things like these regulations are over the top. All right, see you guys later.